Are you still tracking hours worked by employees on paper? Team Software can save your company countless hours and payroll errors with Team Time. We have options for telephone, biometric, and mobile timekeeping. Team Time will ensure that your employees are on the job and their work hours are recorded properly. Team Time can notify a job supervisor immediately if a job is understaffed so that you know about it before your customer does. Our caller ID and GPS location verification features ensure employees are in the proper location. With our mobile app features, your supervisors get a real-time view of who is clocked in at each account. Visit teamsoftware.com today to learn more.
Welcome to our Cleancast today. Thanks for joining us. I've titled this one, What Track Are You On? Will Rogers said even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Think about that. Many times people reach a plateau, they say, man, if I could just get to there, whatever there is, everything would be great. You can say, I made it. And then the downward spiral begins. I remember when I started my company back in the early 70s, and one of the things we wanted to do is reach $1 million. And I remember my wife buying me even a nice bracelet that said, you have joined, my name on here, and underneath she had engraved, congrats on $1 million. And we had a big presentation, our best friends were over, and she handed that to me, and man, we got there. Well, little did my wife know that wasn't where I planned to stay. She knew it the next day, because I, by that time, already was aware of the fact that if you try to just stay where you are, this business, we're in the BSC business, on average will lose 17% of their revenue every year through whatever means, whether it's bad service, whether it's closed their doors, whether they just, somebody got bought out and it's on a national contract with another company. There's just a myriad of ways that you can lose business. But think about it, it won't take long. It's 17%. It doesn't take long. You're going to be out of business. Could be out of business. So obviously we said that's wonderful. Now this year we got to do $1.5 million, and that's how we kept going that way. But the thing about it is, if you sit on that railroad track, as Will Rogers say, if you're on the right track, you're going to get run over. But if you get to that plateau that you said was always the best way, I want to get to $1 million, or I want to get to $5 million, or I want to get to $10 million. Well, there's other sharp competitors that are out there that are coming along, and many of them coming along every day. They're going to knock you off your pedestal. They're going to knock you off the track. So you have to keep going. You have to keep adding. You have to keep adding quality people, quality infrastructure, along with added business, and then making sure that you've closed the back door to make sure you're not. I remember a few years ago talking with a competitor of mine in the Phoenix area market. We had lunch, and he said, I sold $1 million myself last year in new business. I said, well, great, because I hadn't done that in the Phoenix market that year. And he says, now here's the problem, though. He says, I've lost $2 million going out the back door. And so I said to him, Pete, what are you doing about that? He said, I hired another salesman. So he was going to go out next year and do $2 million to cover up that $2 million loss. If I get 2 salesmen doing $1 million, I'll balance my losses. And the way he was operating, probably bring in $2 million, he might lose $4. I don't know. We never spoke of that issue again, but I thought, that's not a real good track to be on. You know, I had an employee. In fact, my mentor in this business in Kansas. I started this business in Wichita, Kansas, and the guy that he had started, he was charter member of BSCAI. He started in 1948, and his philosophy in this business was, you go out and tell them, how much do you want to spend? And they say $1,000 a month. And you go back home and you say 50% for labor, 25% for supplies, and 25% for profit. That was his formula. And interestingly enough, he ended up bankrupt because he had that formula, and a bunch of us young punks came along. We knocked him off the track. Particularly myself and another company, we pretty much took over the market. He ended up, what he did is ended up selling to a national company and took 100% stock, and then the national company went bankrupt. But that's neither here nor there. He had to sell because it was going like this, but he had that formula. And, you know, some of us sharp dudes had come along, and we had figured out, you know, that we can do it this way and this way and this way. We had better control of our numbers. And he ended up out of business. Ian Gregg, you've heard me speak of Ian Gregg in other podcasts. He says the best salesman is a hungry entrepreneur. You know, you go in and you want to take everything. The worst salesman is a successful entrepreneur. Think about that. If you're watching this and you're hungry right now, you just started in the last year or so, man, you want to get business. You want to get business. You'll do anything. You know, I don't care if it's after midnight. I'll do it. And then those of you that have been around a while and maybe got your business up there and you got a pretty comfortable living, pretty good staff around you, somebody calls up and says, I want you to do it this and this and this, and I want to do it in this time frame. No, we don't do things like that at that hour. That's not our business. The worst salesman is a successful entrepreneur. You know, when we're hungry, we hustle to make get that job, don't we? When we're successful, I don't take that kind of business, or I don't need to do that. Or worse yet, you know, when you say a customer call, I don't have to take that from anybody. I'm going to throw them out. I'm going to cancel them. You know, I was pretty lucky. I married a lady that I truly love, and she loves me. We've been married now 54 years. But, you know, I was really lucky in that as long as my wife could find something to buy, I had to keep hustling. So I could never get over here and say, I don't have to take that, because I always had to get more, because we never had a budget she couldn't live beyond. So, how about you? On the right track? Just sitting there? Have you got plans for keeping going? If you're just sitting there, you may not be sitting there long. You may be knocked off. Do you have a plan for keeping going? Fending off those alligators that are coming at you? I hope so. Thanks for watching this. See you next time.